I have started having anxiety-induced seizures. I realized this is actually a thing. I even told the speaker that I had been having seizures and I was not feeling good, and so he told me to sit down. The ambulance shows up. Right off the bat, you can tell that they're not too worried about me. The speaker told them that I had been having basically back-to-back seizures, and she saw that. And they were like, okay, yeah, we'll get right on that. So then they put me in the ambulance, and at some point, they turned the lights on, that's what it was. They turned the lights on in the ambulance, and I came to. So she asked me questions, and like, who's the president, where are you right now, what's the date, and it took me a good 7-8 seconds to remember the answer to all of them. I ended up knowing all of the answers, but it was hard to remember. I had to think hard about it. So she said because I answered it correctly that it wasn't a seizure because I was too coherent. And so she told me, you weren't having seizures. I'm no doctor, but you weren't having seizures. I think you just worked yourself up and like basically hyperventilated. And so I guess I had told my husband that, and my husband said, but she wasn't worked up. She was sitting there perfectly calm, and then just started having a seizure. And then they kept telling him, no, it wasn't a seizure. And he said, but I was there. You weren't, so how can you tell me what it was? No. So I get to the hospital, and I'm by myself for a little bit while he drove there. And so they put me in the hall in a bed, and so they let my husband in, and basically nothing happened. They took some blood, they tested me to see my levels of everything, and yeah, that's all they did, actually. I was trying to think of something else they did. My husband said, are you gonna give her any tests, you know, on her brain, and are you gonna keep her overnight? Are you gonna... No. The doctor came in and said, you weren't having seizures because you can't have seizures if you're awake. Even if you're paralyzed, you can't physically be awake during a seizure. So you probably just hyperventilated and passed out. And then I said, well, my head's killing me. Is there anything I can have? Well, you can have some Tylenol, or you could just go to the store and get your own Tylenol. It's probably a lot cheaper if you just get your own Tylenol. And they discharged me, and I went home. And when I told everybody that had, you know, seen various seizures, every single one of them said, what? They're like, we saw them. They said, we saw them. They didn't. It just... It sucked because I was already so scared of what was happening. And then to basically be told, well, what you think's happening is not happening, and there's no way that it could possibly be happening, so there's nothing we're going to do about it. It hurt in the moment, and now it just kind of annoys me because I'm like, why is this keep happening. But yeah, so at this point, I have no answers other than the ones I've kind of figured out myself. If I get anxious enough, I start getting a shake in my hand. In my hand, I'll get kind of a shiver. Oh, and I got an eye twitch. Not that anybody can see the eye twitch, but I can feel it. It's like just right in the corner. It's almost like if you have an eyelash and your eye just starts doing that twitch, but it's like on the inside. So to the outside, nobody can see that I'm having an eye twitch, but I can feel it and it drives me crazy. But yeah, it's basically just at this point, when I get extremely anxious, I can feel it coming on and I have to just stop. Stop what I'm doing. Stop everything that's stressing me out. Block it out. Just relax. Because if I don't, and I've tried to keep going, I will most likely end up with a seizure that day. There was a day that I became so stressed out and I felt it coming on. I felt it happening and I just was like, nope, not gonna happen. I'll be fine. Like always, don't listen to my body. And my husband and our friend left the house and they came back and found me lying at the bottom of the stairs unconscious. And what had happened was I basically was 3 steps from the bottom. I went up the stairs for something that now I can't even remember what it was. But as I was coming back down, I was 3 steps from the bottom and all of a sudden I just woke up. And that was scary. I just started shaking. That's what I can remember. I just started shaking and I kept ignoring it and then all of a sudden I was at the bottom of the stairs and I couldn't move. And my friend was basically roughly throwing me around, but not in like the aggressive kind of way, more of a like they thought I was dead or something. And so they were trying to kind of wake me up to make sure I was okay, and I had broke my glasses. We ended up being able to fix it, but still, I fell so hard that I broke my glasses, which then made them scared. How hard did I hit my head? And it affects my memory. It makes it really hard to, like, basically when you try to remember something and it just hurts your head to remember it, it's that kind of thing. I can remember that it's happened, but then to actually think hard about the details during it, it just gives me a headache. And I feel almost hungover, I guess, would be the word. Like, I just feel really icky. But yeah, that's basically, as far as that, I mean, I don't really know how to fix the problem if I can't get anybody of medical degree to believe me. Like I said, everybody around me who has seen it sees that I'm telling, because half the time I don't even have to say what I think it is and they'll offer the information. And I realize that they're not, doctors. But like I said, one of them was a cop who has seen various medical incidents. Other people know me and know what is wrong. I mean, my husband has known me for 10 years and just during all of this extreme stress has seen this happen. So if I was going to suddenly start doing something, he would know if I was making it up. And I know that I don't have to keep saying, I'm not making it up, please believe me. I know that, but I felt like I'm right back at, I'm pregnant and can't get off the couch without passing out. Please believe me. All I know is that it's hard to tell somebody what you're feeling isn't valid, what you're experiencing isn't real, when they're experiencing it. I mean, my husband found me at the bottom of the stairs. How do you tell him, well, she's doing it for attention? Well, he knows his wife, and he knows what she does and doesn't do. And he doesn't for a second think I'm doing it for attention. And he knows me more than the doctor, so which one would most people believe? But they didn't test anything. They didn't even hold me for more than a couple hours. The time I was there was only because I took the ambulance there. They took my blood, so they know I wasn't, cracked out or anything. It just sucks. It's one thing to be anxious and be told calm down or you'll get sick. But to actually know that if I have a bad day, on top of everything else mentally, I now can become so stressed out that I'll start seizing, and it's terrifying to be laying there, shaking uncontrollably, hitting yourself in the head, falling apart, and hear the panic in your family members' voices, and hear them. I've heard my friend countless times yell for my husband and say, it's happening again, come help. And the guilt part of me is always like, man, they don't deserve that, but then I don't deserve that either. Like, it's hard because I don't know where to go from here. I don't know if it's one of those medically, there's nothing that anybody can do, there's nothing that anybody will do. It's just one of those things that I have to, I don't know how to say it. Like, basically, there's nothing that, there's not a medication that I need to get on. It's simply just learning my body cues, learning what to do in the situation, informing the people around me that would be in the situation with me, what to do if it happens, teaching my children how to call daddy if this happens, that kind of thing. I don't know if that's all it is. It's just, it doesn't matter what other people think. I know my life and I have to just take charge of it. That's easy to say, but it still hurts to feel like I'm begging people to believe me. But I also have to remind myself that the people that matter already believe me. And it doesn't matter to them what some doctor says or some EMT. The people that love me and the people that know me are the ones that would be helping me in the situation more than this doctor. And maybe it's just another test of fighting for myself and what I need. It definitely is a situation that it's my body speaking up, that I was ignoring my body. I was ignoring my anxiety, trying to shove it down, and eventually it basically started screaming back at me. If you're not going to listen to me, I'm gonna make you listen to me. And it worked. It's always in the back of my mind that it can happen. Anytime I feel stressed out, I'm always on alert that day could end with it. It can happen at any time. It has happened at any time. It's not fun. And I feel for the people who have seizures multiple times a day, every day. I don't know the outcome of this situation. I mean, I'm making this video now, but I don't know if it's going to be something that just, if I become less anxious, it'll go away, or it's something I now am just going to have for the rest of my life. I don't know. I wish I had the answers to various things, but I don't. But I wanted to share because I want to share on my channel, and like everything else, I want to share in case there is somebody out there who also deals with it and is being told, well, you're not right. Because like I said, it's easy to tell somebody that they're wrong, but when they're the one living it, when they're the one who's unable to move, but shaking uncontrollably, I mean, I'm very, I'm very, I guess modest would be the word, in the aspect of, like, the thought that the EMTs, like, lifted me up and I was wearing a dress, like, that mortifies me. I'm told that nothing showed, but I'm still mortified. But, yeah, during these seizures, like, whatever comes up, comes up. Like, I can't physically control, you know. So, if I was doing it in my own free will, I would not allow that to happen. Of course, in my mind, I think the meds may have something to do with it, but I can't be sure. I mean, I don't know which one it would be. I don't know. And I already got enough issues with trying to work out this medication without adding another thing. I don't know. This video's been a mess. I'm so sorry that it's such a mess. Only a mess because it's so hard to talk about it and to get it worked out in my brain and to describe something that's been going on for weeks in a small amount of time. But just know that I'm learning to take care of my body, as hard as it is to do. So I think that's it for this video. I hope you all are doing well, and if you struggle with something like I've described, please know that I understand.